What's up, guys? In today's video, we're going to be going over the best GRAU build in Warzone and why I personally think this gun might just be the most underrated gun in all of Warzone. But before we get into it, I just want to give you guys a huge thank you for all the support on our last video and helping us reach 500 subscribers on YouTube. That is absolutely insane, so thank you so much for that. If you're interested in catching me live, be sure to hop on over to my Twitch and consider giving me a follow. Now let's get right into the video. The GRAU might just be the most criminally underrated gun in all of Warzone at the moment. It is definitely a top 2 AR alongside the M4. I would even argue that it can potentially be better than the M4. It is also a super versatile gun that can be made to feel like a run and gun SMG or a super long range laser, which is what makes it such a fun gun to use. But let's get right into it. Moving on over to the Gunsmith and starting off with the Muzzle, we're going to go with the staple of so many gun builds in Warzone. We're going to throw on a Monolithic Suppressor. This is hands down the best muzzle for most SMGs and ARs in Warzone for a few reasons, but the main reason being the increase in damage range. In Warzone, the map is fairly large. You will be getting into a lot of gunfights from medium to long range. This will help with that dramatically. It also helps you stay as stealthy as possible when you're moving around the map. Moving on over to the barrel, in my opinion, you have two options here. I prefer the FFS Nexus barrel because of the increase in range as stated before. You also get extra bullet velocity, so your bullets will travel to your target a lot faster and you won't have to lead your shot as much when getting in those longer range battles. You also get recoil control, which will help improve your accuracy dramatically. This attachment, with a few others later in the build, will make this gun an absolute laser. Your second option as far as barrels go is going to be the Tempus Archangel barrel, which is basically a slightly better Nexus barrel, but you do sacrifice a little bit mobility when choosing it. If I was to equip the no stock attachment on this gun and gain the extra mobility from it, I would definitely run the Archangel barrel because you will gain most of that mobility back that you will lose with a regular stock, but you also reap a little bit of extra benefits you receive when switching at the Nexus for the Archangel. With this specific build, I do not put a stock on it, as I do not believe it is worth it, but again, if you want the extra mobility, you could absolutely remove the stock and make this gun a gun that is very much suited for a run and gun playstyle. It is all up to you. If you do decide to go that route, I would personally remove the XRK Void II rear grip, but that is all personal preference and it's all up to you. Moving on to the Underbarrel, I personally think you have two main choices here. I prefer the Commando Foregrip mostly because of the feel, but you will obviously gain recoil stabilization and aim stability, which when combined with the other attachments basically makes this gun have zero recoil. Once again, you do lose a little bit of movement speed when choosing this attachment, so keep that in mind. Your second option is probably the more popular option of the two. The Ranger Foregrip is one of the go-tos for ARs and SMGs in this Call of Duty. The difference between the Ranger and the Commando Foregrips are small, but very noticeable overall. With the Ranger, you will gain recoil control instead of stabilization. You also will not lose movement speed with this foregrip as you would with the Commando. Instead, you will lose aim walking movement speed, which isn't really a huge deal, but you do lose some ADS speed, which is very important on ARs in my opinion. It is all dependent on whether you want to value recoil control or recoil stabilization, and if you want to sacrifice a little bit of ADS speed or movement speed when choosing between the two attachments. It's really up to you. Moving on to the ammunition attachment, we opted for the 50 round mag as I feel like the 60 round mag is a bit overkill. I prefer to have a little bit of extra mobility at the cost of 10 bullets. I rarely have to reload in the middle of gunfights with a large 50 round mag. I usually have a gun with a large mag anyways in my secondary, and I don't really notice the difference between the 50 round mag and the 60 round mag anyways. I would say you might want to run the 60 round mag if you are someone who is running a gun with low ammo in your secondary or even a rocket launcher, but it's really up to your preference and playstyle. The last attachment we round this build off with is the XRK Void rear grip. As stated earlier in the video, this can be substituted out for the no stock attachment, but I really prefer this over the no stock, and here's why. When choosing the no stock, you will be losing a little bit of extra range, which is surprisingly very noticeable when in game. You'll also lose a little bit of accuracy and control overall when looking at the stats in a side-by-side comparison. The no stock basically makes this gun feel more like an SMG than an AR, which is completely fine, but I really like the feel of this gun more with the rear grip in general. Maybe you prefer the run and gun playstyle and really don't notice a drop off in range and accuracy when choosing the no stock. It is really up to your preference and playstyle, but honestly, you can't really go wrong with either versions of this build. They are both incredibly good, and both versions of this build will absolutely laser your opponents. But that is entirely up to you, and always, I recommend trying out both to see what fits your playstyle the best, and honestly, just what feels the best for you. That's going to be it for the gun guide. Make sure you leave all your thoughts, comments, and concerns down below in the comment section. I really do value your guys' opinions highly, and I'm always trying to pump out better and more informative content for you guys as time goes on. If you want to see more content, then make sure you hop on over to my Twitch and hit that follow button. I stream 6 days a week and play a ton of Warzone. Would be awesome to see some new faces. I appreciate you watching until the end of the video. If there's anything you would change about this build, make sure you let me know in the comment section below. Much love and have a great day.